50/50 podcast. Hi everyone, I'm Yas.
And I'm Yel.
And welcome back to 50/50.
Yes, welcome back. And do not forget to hit that subscribe button. We have new episodes out every single week on Wednesday. Every Wednesday, you're going to know there's a new episode out. But why not just subscribe so you have that notification, right? You just have it right there on your page.
And click that bell notification too.
Yes.
So you can get reminded.
Exactly. And this week, we have an episode that's going to be all about sister fights.
Yeah.
But before we get into that, I wanted to touch on just kind of like, it's just some stuff going on in like social media world, like whatever, just like things on our mind. I have a couple things. Like, first of all, I'm just so excited. We're going to go on a beach vacation soon.
Yes, our annual family vacation.
And I just can't wait because it's summertime, and ever since the weather starts getting a little bit warmer, I just can't wait to go to the beach.
Yeah.
I want to be at the beach. As soon as the weather gets warm, I just want to be at the beach. So I'm just so excited because we get to be on vacation. It's just all so fun. We get to like be together, live together for like a couple weeks.
I'm so excited for that because we haven't lived together for a while.
Yeah.
Ever since I got married. And so I'm so happy to be together again and just all living under one roof. And I know some people actually don't like that. There's some people that don't enjoy that, but I enjoy it.
Yeah.
We enjoy it. Our family enjoys it a lot. So
we enjoy it. We
really are looking forward to this time.
Yeah, I just love it. I know some people, they're like, oh, like how can you like live under like one roof, which like live, it's only like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
But a 2-week vacation. But we actually look forward to that. Like when we go on vacation, we want to stay together. Like, because then you get to have breakfast together, lunch, dinner,
and
like
things that we don't do. Like I don't do that anymore on the daily. Like we don't have breakfast together.
No.
We don't get ready together. We don't really do anything together until later on. If we see each other, some days we don't.
Exactly.
So I'm so excited and so happy that we get to live together again.
Exactly. And we have fun. We always have like, we do something at night, like before going to sleep. Either we like play a game or like even just talk, whatever. But it's always just, I look forward to that so much.
Even taking off our makeup together. That's so fun. I love doing that.
So we're going to have lots of fun on vacation. So I'm looking forward to that. And then also just something that I've been seeing around, which I just can't like get, is like all these flats coming back in style.
I know.
Like ballet flats.
And they're also like pointed toe flats.
And I'm just like,
isn't that crazy?
Do you remember the era when that was like,
I mean, that's all that they would sell. That's the only thing that I would use.
Those would be like the only shoes that I would use too. Like flats.
Basically almost year round. Even in the, like, here it gets, it snows sometimes, but it gets cold. I would even wear that to work.
Yeah, same here. And I would even wear that when I was in college. I remember I would like wear, flats and everything. And like, I don't know, I loved them at the moment. I thought they were so cool and everything. But then after the trend started going out, I really like, I would look back and cringe. I'd be like, oh my God, like wearing like jeans with flats and like it doesn't look good.
That was the look back then,
It was the look. But I'm like, I would cringe at myself looking back and I'd be like, oh my God, I can't believe like I would wear that. Like how, like why didn't I just wear like these other shoes or whatever?
In that point it was in style. So I can't cringe at what I would wear because I'm like, at that moment it was in style and I was dressing in style. If I would see myself, even now how I'm dressing now, maybe 10 years from now, I'd be like, what the heck am I wearing? But that's the style from the moment. So
that's true. Yeah. You can't cringe.
You can't cringe because you're dressing, you're going with the trends. With the trends, exactly.
Yeah. And that's what happens when you follow the trends. Like eventually the trend's going to come out.
Skinny jeans and stuff like that. At one point we would wear skinny jeans. Before that, there was like bell bottoms were in style, flared jeans, whatever.
The straight jeans too. Before it went to skinny, it was like straight jeans, which we're kind of at now. Well, now they have the whole wide leg too. I feel like before it wasn't like the wide leg part, but like, anyways, I see the flats and I don't know, I just can't get with the trend of using the flats. I'm like, I feel like I'm personally just me, like still scarred from the flats before because I really like.
Scarred? What? I love the flats.
I used to love it, but then I grew to like hate it. I don't know why.
Really? I love them. I feel like it's just like so simple.
Yeah.
And have you seen that they have like those mesh flats?
Yes, those are kind of growing on me. Those are the only ones.
I've seen those. They're kind of cute.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just like, I remember all the bad times I guess with the flats because like honestly they would hurt your feet.
I mean, it was literally like walking on paper.
Yeah, because
I would feel every single little tiny rock on the sidewalk.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. That sounds like
horrible.
When like this little like platform came in and everything, I was actually so happy because I'm like, okay, like more cushion, like So I don't know. I just been thinking about that, seeing all the flats, and I'm just like, I don't know, I can't. I'm like, how long is this gonna last? Like, am I gonna start using flats again? I'm like, I don't know.
And talking about lasting, they're saying that JLO and Ben are actually getting divorced.
Yes, I saw that.
Because I was wondering, like, how long are they gonna last together? Because you've been seeing him around Ben, right? Ben Affleck. He's been acting all kinds of strange, and
he always looks like he's
miserable,
angry, sad. Like, I don't know. He just anything but happy.
I mean, he doesn't seem really sad. To me, he seems like angry and bothered.
Yeah.
Just like, kind of like, disgusted even. Like, that's how I see him.
I don't know. And that's like, yeah, I've been seeing that too. Like where, you know, there's always speculation like, oh, he's moving out. Like they haven't seen each other in so long. Like, I mean, there hasn't been any pictures of them together. So like, I think it really is true that they're like done.
You know, and I wouldn't be surprised. I hope it's not true because, you know, who likes a breakup, right?
Yeah.
But if it's better for both of them, I hope that they break up then.
Yeah.
You know, for the well-being of both, because I also know he has some kind of like addiction issues and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I know that he has that
Yeah.
issue also. And another thing that has been going on with us
Yeah.
and everything, which is just, I feel like it's so funny.
It is funny. It's so funny, actually.
Because we're not like big sports people.
No,
we don't ever
so
like
random.
watch sports. We don't, but for some reason we have been so into the Copa America and Euro Cup. So if you don't watch soccer or if you don't know about those stuff, it's basically like soccer tournaments. Like it's not like the World Cup, because obviously the World Cup we watch also.
Yeah, of course.
But this is more just like different regions. So Copa America is like of like North, Central, and South America, and then Euro Cup is from the European countries.
Yeah. And then all of our teams are on there. You know, we
Yeah.
have Turkey is in Euro, and then Copa America, we have Ecuador and the US.
Exactly. Yeah. So we have like, we've been cheering for our three teams, and now they're all out, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But they had a good run. I mean, the US didn't do that great, honestly, because everybody has been, like I said, I don't know about sports. So I'm just hearing what the commentators say, and they're this was not a good season for them. But Turkey did really good.
Turkey did good. Ecuador did good.
Ecuador did surprisingly good also. So yeah, we've just been watching a lot of soccer, and we've just been like,
it's just so exciting.
So exciting.
It's so exciting because you get so into the game, and it's just like you start cheering for your team, and I don't know, I just love it. I look forward to that time.
Me too.
And I love watching the World Cup, so getting this like in between the World Cup.
Yeah.
It's so fun.
It's so fun.
I love it.
It's just like you're saying, you just get into it. We're not really big sports people, but it's just like, I don't know, something, because people even tell me to like, oh, like you watch sports? I'm like, no, I actually really don't. Nothing wrong with that, but I'm like, I honestly don't watch sports other than like these big things like the World Cup and now these different little cups that they have going on. It's just like, it's so fun to cheer for your like the different nations. I don't know, there's something about like it being a nation rather than just watching, because I know they have soccer year round where there's like, you know, there's like the different teams that people work on like as their career.
Right. But this is like the US. This is like Ecuador, Turkey.
Yeah.
So it's just so, it's just, I don't know, it's just, you feel like a connection.
Exactly, you do. So anyways, we've been watching that, and the finale is actually coming up for both of them. And I don't know if you know this, but they're both on the same day. So the Euro Cup ends at like 3 p.m. on Sunday, and then the other one, Copa America, the finale is like at 8 p.m. So we got another busy day.
That's a busy day for us.
So now getting into our topic, we wanted to talk about sister fights because, you know,
it's inevitable.
It's inevitable. As sisters, you fight. And even if you're like super close sisters, I feel like that's probably like the more that you fight, but the less serious that the fights are. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. But it could be serious too. But I think you're more forgiving.
Exactly.
The closer that you are, you're more forgiving towards your sister.
Yeah.
I feel like if you're not close, then you kind of just sweep it under the rug.
Yeah. Or a fight can last a lot longer. I feel like if you already don't see each other that often, and then you have a fight, and then it's so much easier to like go, you know, like a month without seeing each other or something. Do you know what I mean? Rather than if you like already see each other all the time, like us, it's like we're bound to solve it faster, you know?
If the people are open. But that's basically the point of this. It's like sister fights, they happen. Do we have fights? Of course. Yeah. We do.
And that's something that we get asked a lot. Like, people in our life will always ask us, like, but do you guys, because we're really close.
And we're very close. We're close in age.
Yeah. And we're close, like our relationship. We have a very close relationship.
Mm-hmm.
We love being together. And I feel like everybody knows that because, like I said, anybody who knows me, like my friends or anything, they always know about you because I always I'm like, oh, I did this with my sister. Oh, like my sister like that.
It's like how they say your sister becomes your personality, which it's kind of crazy, but it is, because you're like, oh, you always end up somehow your sister gets involved in it. I don't know how, but it's like, oh yeah, I did that with my sister yesterday, or my sister and I don't know, went to the mall or whatever it is.
Yeah, I saw these reels on Instagram where it's like that girl who like always talks about her sister. Yeah. But it's like, not that you're trying it, but that's literally me. Because I'll be like, there's somebody be like, oh, like I love, you know, like chocolate. And I'm like, oh, so does my sister. My sister is obsessed with chocolate. Like, you know, like that's just how it ends up always happening. Yeah. So people know that we're close. And sometimes people are always like, because they see us always getting along together. Because we honestly, like 99.9% of the time, always get along. Yeah. And if we ever have a fight, like we're going to get into that, of course, but our fights don't last long at all, which I love about us. Yeah. I love that we are not like those type of people that are like, oh, I'm not going to talk to you for like a week.
That Never. Is so annoying.
Like not even a couple of hours. I don't think we can go that long. But yeah. So anyways, people are always curious about like, do we fight? And I just always think that's funny too, because I feel like
why do they care?
Why do they care? And I feel like, why do people, like, not everybody, of course, but why do some people want to see sisters fight? Like,
well, this is the thing. If we fight, I'm gonna assure you that we will never fight in front of you.
Exactly.
That's gonna be a private thing between us, and our fights aren't physical fights. That's not what it is. It's a verbal fight. Like,
and they're always
I guess we can say it's kind of catty, you know, like that's what it is. Like, just
like bickering, people would say, I guess too.
Like, that's kind of what it is. But you know, we're not physically fighting or anything. And why do people even care? That's the thing. Like, those stuff is like, I'm not gonna go over to somebody and be like, oh, do you guys fight?
Yeah, I would never ask that either. But I guess some people who don't have siblings like that, and that's why these questions, if you like kind of like think back on it, these questions always come from people who don't have a close sibling. Or who don't have, like, because it's been girls most of the time that ask us, they don't have a sister. So I feel like that's why it's kind of like they don't get it, maybe.
Yeah.
Because it's different. Like, having a brother is just different than, like, if you're a girl and you have a brother, it's different than if you're a girl and you have a sister. Like, I know we spoke about this before and everything. I feel like it's a controversial thing, but I feel like, you know, girls with sisters are just different. We're just different.
We're different people.
Yeah. But even seeing the Kardashians, like, it wasn't this season. It's like from, I don't know if it's the last one, but one of their previous seasons, where, like, everybody, if you watch the Kardashians, you know, even if you don't watch the Kardashians, I feel like you know this, of, like, when Kourtney and Kim got into that, like, physical fight.
That's crazy.
That is crazy. And that's a lot. Like, we've never gotten into a fight like that.
No.
Never. And I don't think we ever will, because we're not those kind of people.
Why would we? That's crazy. Never.
I've never been that mad at you that I want to, like, throw you around a little bit.
Even if I've gotten that mad at you, which I don't recall a time like that.
Yeah.
We would never get to that point. Our parents taught us better.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, our parents, like...
No way.
They also hate it when we fight. They, like...
Yeah.
they can't stand it. They're like, that's your sister. They're like, that's all you have. I remember Dad would tell me when we were little, he would be like, because, you know, since you are my older sister, he'd always be like, you need to respect her. She's your older sister. I'm like, she needs to respect me. Like... This is little me just saying this stuff.
Yeah.
But
no, they always and mom always is like, you know, that's your sister. You have to take care of her. You have to be with her. You have to whatever.
Yeah.
You know, mom has always been so 100% like, that's your sister. Always, no matter what.
And like, you guys are a team.
A team. No matter what, you guys are together.
Yeah. Like, don't ever see yourselves as like competition. And that's why we don't have that issue either. A lot of people also, I feel like they want to pin sisters like against each other. Like,
yeah, that's not us.
That's not us at all. We don't have like not one bit. Anything that you do, like any win of yours is a win of mine. Like, that's how I feel.
That's exactly how I feel.
And like a win for the family, honestly. That's how I feel.
Because it's just like, how can that not be? Like, I don't know. It's like, you're my blood.
And and like something that I saw in the Kardashians too was just like they were saying basically, because everybody was like, you know, Kourtney and Kim have been fighting a lot.
They got into a physical fight.
And after that, they've been like disagreeing a lot, and they've been like fighting like over just, you know,
random things
like sister stuff. You know, it's just like you find it annoying, right?
And this is the thing. When you have a sister, you are two completely different people. That's the reality. Right? You're not the same person, so you have different opinions. And whether it's your sister or not, you are two different people with different opinions. And things are going to clash. Exactly. And it's okay.
And when you spend any amount of, like, a lot of time with somebody, amount of time, you're going to have clashes, like you're saying. That's like, I feel like the same thing that happens, like, with, like, a married couple. Like, you know, like, that's what, because you end up spending so much time together that things, you start, you know, this little thing bothered, like, why'd you leave that there? Like, and that's I feel like how siblings are too, especially because when you're living together, like when you're growing up, of course you're gonna get on each other's nerves. Like, that is just like normal. But
I mean, I think it's so weird for people that are like, no, we never fight. I'm like, you have problems.
Or you're lying. That's what I think. Like,
lying, or they actually have problems. They have big issues that they don't fight about, so they get into something and they have like resentment against each other. They don't have that bond.
That's true.
When people don't fight, I'm not saying fight all the time,
right,
but if you're not like fighting and resolving, then there's something really bad happening in your relationship,
and you're just like building up all this like resentment or just like all this anger you have that you're not releasing. And that's like kind of like what the Kardashians, like, sorry to keep going back to the Kardashians, but that's what they were kind of saying, because somebody was asking like Kourtney or something, or this was on their show. I saw this on Instagram though, but she was basically like, somebody was like, oh, like, how are you guys, like, you fight and then you make up, and then you fight and then you make up.
Duh.
She was kind of like, that is what sisters do. They're like, if you ever expect us to be like, you know, fighting for like years, whatever, like, it's not gonna happen. Like, in that, and I just felt like that was so, I love that she said that, because I'm like, you don't see that, you know, when you're just watching the show. I was like, oh my god, I'm like, maybe they actually do hate each other. Like, that's what I was thinking. But I love to see that, because I'm like, you know, your sisters at the end of the day, like, and just what that showed is like, it doesn't matter. Like, if they get angry, like, that's why, like, you just, you know, call them up and be like, hey, do you want to go to Target? Yeah, let's go. And like, boom, it's over. But of course, I feel like you should talk about your stuff.
Yeah. I truly believe that you need to talk about it.
Yeah. And I feel like we're good at that though. Like that's something about us. Like we like to talk about like whatever happened, and then we actually move on.
We do. And so this is the thing, this is what I think is the best thing that we do when, we have a disagreement or something like that. One of us will initiate a conversation and be like, hey, when you did X, Y, and Z, I didn't like that. And you're like, okay, well, I didn't like when you did this. And so then one of us will say, well, I'm sorry for doing this. It's just that I felt that you, offended me. And you're like, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to offend you. I'm like, okay, well, and I'm sorry for reacting that way because I felt offended. So then I reacted in a rude way, and I'm sorry for that. And so we have such a healthy way. I think it's really healthy way of just, taking accountability and responsibility for our parts, what I did wrong and what you did wrong. And we apologize. And then we truly move on.
Yeah.
We do not hold that onto each other. And when we apologize to each other, we truly mean it.
Yeah.
Because you say, I'm sorry, and I'm never going to do it again. And you never do it again.
Yeah.
And the same goes for me. When I say I'm not going to do it again, I don't do it again.
Yeah.
Because I truly mean the sorry that I say.
Yeah.
And not all relationships are like that.
No.
And I think it's rare to have even a relationship with your sister like that, because not even married couples have relationships like we do.
Yeah.
I think we have a very, very healthy relationship.
I think we do. And I feel like it's because it comes from like both sides. Like we both want to not hold on to things. We both want to just like talk about it, let it go. And I feel like also something that I love about us too is like we're honest. And I feel like that's really good. So I'd be like, I'm just straight up with you. I'm like, why did you do that? Why did you say that? Or like that pissed me off, or like whatever, it might be like you were saying. And being honest, that then you can actually push through. Because if not, if I'm like, oh yeah, like it's whatever, and just not talk about it, then you don't even know what you did wrong or whatever I didn't like that you did, or whatever it is,
and then I can tell you, well, I just wanted to bother you.
Exactly.
And then you're like, well, don't do that again. That hurt me. You offended me. You made me feel horrible, or whatever it is that you say. And then I truly apologize, because I truly feel bad, because why would I ever want to make you feel bad, and vice versa? You would do the same for me. You apologize for whatever it is that you did.
Yeah.
Because we don't want to hurt each other. We don't want to...
Exactly.
In the moment we're heated, whatever.
Yeah.
But then we move on, and that's the best thing. And we don't hold that against each other.
Yeah.
We apologize and we move forward.
Exactly.
And I think that's the best thing to do.
I think so too. And I feel like we just, like we always say, we like to have a good time.
We do.
We love to spend time together. And whenever something happens and we might get a little mad at each other, like I'm saying, it doesn't even last long, like not even hours. But if it were to last even like a couple hours, we always end up moving forward, because we want to be together. We want to have a good time, and we don't want like something so dumb, because it's always something dumb.
It's nothing important.
It's never anything important. It's just like, I don't even know what it could be. Like right now I can't think of anything, but I'm sure it's like the dumbest things. I remember like even being young, when we were growing up and everything together, like it was even, for example, like sharing clothes, like, but then we set even our own little like rules.
Yeah.
And we were able to like, find a balance, because usually me borrowing your clothes.
Right. Yeah.
And you'd always be like, you can borrow whatever you want. But then when I wanted to borrow it was always,
no.
Yeah, you're like, not that one. And I'm like, what about it? And
nope,
not that one either. But then at least we established it. Like you were like, okay, like you can borrow it, but you have to like bring it back to my room, and like in the same condition that you borrowed it in.
Yeah.
And like, if not hang it, at least put it on the hanger or something like that. If I didn't know exactly where it went.
Yeah.
But, and then same for you, whenever you would borrow, because it wasn't often, but whenever you borrow from me too, I'd be like, okay, but I don't want to go fishing for it in your room. Like you need to come and bring it back to my room.
Yeah.
And we would like respect those rules that we had and everything. And we would, easily be able to like borrow and everything. I remember even my friends would be like, oh, like I would say that a lot. Like, oh, this is my sister's. Because I would end up borrowing like a lot of your like sweaters or stuff like that growing up. Because I just, I'm like, I didn't have one that matched my outfit or whatever.
Whatever
right?
the
case might be. And so I remember people being like, oh, you borrow stuff from, she like lets you? And I'm like, yeah. I'm like,
yeah.
I wouldn't tell them all about the rules, but I'm like,
because it's none of their
business.
Yeah. But yeah, so we of course we fight. I think we fight in a healthy way. We don't hold it against each other for a long time.
Yeah.
It's in the moment, and then we move on. And it's inevitable, because you have, like I say, it's two different people.
Yeah.
We're two completely different people, even though everybody thinks we're twins.
I know.
And they consider us as one.
In our family.
They do. We don't consider ourselves like that.
No.
And so, it's inevitable. It happens. And I think, like I say, I think it's so healthy to fight. And I love that we make up right away. Yeah. And if we don't fight, I would see it as an issue, because I have seen siblings that don't fight.
Yeah.
and I see how they're not close.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying go out and fight, because then you're going to be close to your sibling. No. You won't be close to your sibling if you start fighting and just like let it be like that, because it starts building up.
Right.
If you fight, you make up, you move forward, you learn from your mistakes, you don't do those mistakes again, things will be good.
Yeah, exactly.
And it takes time to have, this has taken our whole entire life.
Yeah. But we've always had like this understanding, because like I feel like, of course, even though we've known each other our whole life, like you learn each other's personalities and blah blah and all that stuff, just like with anybody. But I feel like even since we were little, we always just like had this, like, we didn't even know, like, it's not like we came up with it, but we just always had this like mutual just want to like be good. Like we always have been like best friends. Yeah. And we never had like a time where we're like, oh, like I can't stand her or something like that. Do you know what I mean? Like,
never. Even when there was like a big difference, like, when I was in maybe middle school and you were still in elementary school.
Yeah. Where you were like ending middle school. I feel like I was still in elementary school.
Exactly.
Just because of I was about to enter middle, but.
Right.
Yeah. But I was still a little.
You were little, and it was a big difference then. Yeah. Even in that point, we didn't hate each other. No. We never fought or anything like that.
I feel like we always got along so well. Yeah.
And we have a good example, because our mom, she's so close to her sister.
Yeah.
Super close to her sister, super close to her mom. And so we had that example our entire life growing up.
Yeah, exactly.
That our mom and her sister, our aunt,
yeah,
they were just doing literally everything together all the time.
Best friends.
Yeah. And that's, I think, how you and me, ended up seeing it. And we even improved our relationship.
Yes.
Even more, I think, because, you learn from your family, and then you also...
And you see things that maybe like in our eyes are like maybe like flaws, and we're like, oh, we don't want to do that exactly.
Right.
And not that it's anything bad, but it's just like,
it's just like raising a child. You do some stuff that your parents do, and you don't do some stuff that your parents did. Yeah.
Just because, not because it's wrong, whatever, just in your eyes, you're like, oh, I don't want to replicate that part. Yeah. That's all.
You just don't like that thing. But that's why I think it's just so amazing that we have such a good and close relationship.
I know. And we had a good example, like you said.
Yeah.
And that's also another thing, like I feel like when it comes to sister fights and everything like that, when sisters are fighting and everything, or siblings in general,
like I feel actively fighting, you're saying,
like actively fighting, like even bickering in the moment, I feel like just like a a word to the people out there, like I feel like nobody should ever get involved.
Yes.
Because the thing about like siblings, sisters especially, you're gonna fight, you're gonna get over it, just like we're saying right now, like we will get over it like in the next 5 minutes probably.
Yeah.
But then if somebody else gets involved, then it's like now you have a problem with that person, like whoever it might be, like if they're, let's say somebody's like trying to defend me, and then they get involved, like then like you're gonna end up having a problem with that person, that it's gonna like you don't solve as quickly as a sibling does.
No.
So I just feel like anytime a sibling is fighting, I just feel like other people should not get involved, because
they shouldn't.
Just let them do their thing. It'll run its course. Hopefully, if they're like siblings that care for each other and everything, it'll be done quickly. Yeah. It's nothing that like needs to be held on for that long.
Yeah, and if someone gets involved, it's just like, why? Number one, why are you fighting in front of other people?
Right.
That's the number one thing. Like, that's weird to begin with.
Yeah.
But another thing is, why does that person feel so inclined to get involved?
Yeah. Because sometimes people, I feel like they want to defend that person. Like
if it was like, let's say your friend or something.
Yeah. Like, I can't remember what show I was watching. It's a reality show. Would you remember?
Well, I'm thinking of one reality show. I'm thinking of the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills.
Yes. There you go. I wasn't thinking about them specifically, but that is a perfect example too. Okay. Real House of Beverly Hills, what you were just about to say.
This was many seasons ago.
So many seasons ago with, if you
Brandy
watch it.
Glanville, Kyle,
and Kim. Kyle Richards and Kim Richards. I guess that's her maiden name. Mm-hmm. So they're sisters, and then Brandy was getting involved in their fight.
Yeah.
And then, Kyle and Kim, they're the ones that are fighting, their sisters.
Yeah.
They end up, eventually making up with her, but now for like so many years, Kyle has had issues with Brandy.
Yeah.
Because like, of just simply of her getting involved in the sister fight, and then now she has a problem with her also, and it's just like it becomes so dragged out. Like, now look, the sisters have made up years ago, they're fine. They probably even had another 10 fights after that. But it's like, if you hadn't gotten involved, you wouldn't be collateral damage, I feel like, with it right now. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah But I feel like she also, in that case, people are getting involved, and you're involving yourself when you don't need, like, you're creating a bigger mess.
Exactly.
I feel like when siblings are fighting, whether it's sister, brothers, whatever, if siblings are fighting, if you're not the parents, I feel like don't get involved.
Yeah.
That's honestly how I feel.
Yeah.
Only the parents should be getting involved.
Exactly.
If appropriate.
Exactly. And of course, we're talking about arguments again. We're not talking about like physical fighting, because that's another story that I'm like, I don't even know. Like,
we have no idea about physical fights, because that's terrifying.
I know. And that's something people have asked us too in the past, to be like, oh, do you guys ever fight And we'd be like, yeah. And they'd be like, no, like punch each other. I'm like, what?
No,
like,
we're not brothers.
No. I'm like, no, exactly. I'm like, maybe brothers do that, but like girls, I'm like, and we do not punch each other.
And we've seen, taking my daughter to like these little play areas and stuff like that. We've seen the difference between like girls and boys, like playing. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Like 2 brothers were playing there in the play area.
Yeah.
And they were literally dragging each other.
Yeah.
And the dad is there trying to chase after the little one to try and grab him. Like, the way that girls play and the way that boys play is very different.
No, boys are different. With even this set of boys too that we were looking at.
Yeah.
Or maybe it was another set, but it was at the same day.
Yeah.
One of the brothers even ended up biting the other brother. I was just like, oh my God.
Oh my gosh. Yes. Oh my God. They're
so different.
So different. Boys are very, I think, aggressive towards each other. More violent.
I don't know. They're just like...
Girls are more like verbal. At least you and me.
Exactly. Yeah. At least us, we don't fight phically like that. Like we've never really gotten into that. So yeah, just like in different little sister fights, it just reminds me like of like different little bickering situations. And even us with filming this podcast, we have little moments when we like bicker and stuff. But I'm so happy like nobody like... I mean, most of the time it's just us talking about it anyways. Yeah, exactly. But like, I mean, nobody really gets involved anyways. But we always have like disagreements on like, for example, different things. I feel like a lot of the times you'll be like, no, like cut that part out, and I'm like, no, like I want to keep it. And those would be like our little like fights, I guess you can say, but not even, because we're not even really fighting, but like our little like bickering situations.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a difference in opinion.
Exactly, because obviously we are, like you're saying, we're sisters. I feel like we are very similar. Like we have a lot of similar tastes and everything, but we're not the same people. Yeah. So we do have different opinions, and a lot of the times, that is where we clash, and we're like, I think it should be this way. Like kind of like we have different visions.
We have different visions, and that is so common. I feel like in any kind of joint channel. Yeah. Anybody that has like, they share a channel with anyone, or you share like
any type of like
project or work or whatever. That's what they say, don't work with your husband, don't work with your wife. Yeah. Because you take it home at the end of the day, your issues, I guess, your problems. Yeah. And it's so much easier to just, kind of bicker with your significant other or your sibling. But I think it's the best thing.
I think so too.
Honestly, in my perspective.
I think so too. And I think also because you're just more honest. Because like imagine if you're doing like even like a channel or like even a project at school, if you remember. Yeah. When you are with somebody else that you don't know, you don't feel as like, you're not going to be as blunt. Like for example, I remember.
Or as open. Not even blunt,
yeah.
As open.
As open. That's the right term. Because like for example, I'm always the type of person, like I feel really bad. I don't want to hurt anybody else's feelings. Exactly. So especially if it's something that they like created that they think is like the best. Like I remember like school project, they'd be like, oh, like here's my part, and I would read like this is like an essay we were writing, and I would just be like, oh my God, this is horrible, and like this is gonna make us get a bad grade. Yeah. And I wouldn't be able to like tell them. I'd be like, oh, like let me help you, like I'll reword it, like, and I would like maybe change little parts, but I didn't want to offend them. But I feel like between you and I feel like that's what's so great. We can be open and honest, and we're just like, no, like that is like horrible, like cut that out, or whatever. And even if we don't agree, but at least we're like, we're actually being honest about our opinions.
Yeah, exactly.
So I actually think it's good to work with your family, but of course, if you have a good relationship with them,
exactly,
and it's not gonna like tear you apart, because that's like a lot of things that you hear about like reality TV shows and stuff like that, like it ends up tearing like
families apart,
like marriages. I know this is not a marriage, but even sisters, like I mean, like we were just talking about in the Real Houses of Beverly Hills, which they're fine now, but like they had fights. I mean, also Kyle and Kathy Hilton, exactly, like so anyways, there's like a lot of that stuff. So I think, but that's like our most like, I guess you could say our more recent
like kind of argument or fight. You can say I wouldn't consider it a fight, but I'm like, cut that out. I don't like that, or we're done filming. I'm like, I don't like it.
Yeah. And I'm like, no, I'm like that. I love that part because of whatever reason, whatever.
Like, no, it's too much information.
Yeah. But we'll find a common ground. Yeah. We always end up finding a common ground. Yeah. But I like that we have like our own points of view also.
Yeah. I like that and I like that I can be open. Yeah. And same with you. I'm sure you like that you can be open because it doesn't matter. We know that we're going to take whatever we say and then we'll work with it.
Exactly. And then even though sometimes you'll tell me like, no, like I hate that part, whatever. And I'm like, no, I'm like, I'm keeping it. Like, I think that's great. Like it's blah, blah, whatever. Then later I'll think about it and like, I'll sit on it too. And I'll be like, wait, you're right. I'm like, we should just cut that part out, or we, change this, change that, whatever it might be. Yeah. Right. And a lot of times when I come back to you, I'm like, oh, like, yeah, you're right.
Or sometimes I'm like, you know what? It's okay. I was thinking too deep into it. Nobody's going to think that deep about it, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So we both end up coming around one way or another.
Exactly.
We always end up finding the balance, which is good.
Yeah, and that's what it's all about. With siblings, find the balance. love your sibling.
Yes.
Because, you know, that's really the only thing that you have that your parents leave you with in this world is your sibling.
I heard this quote where they were like, I don't know who said it, but it's on Instagram. And like, I always get suggested this video, but I can't remember who said it. But anyways, it's like, you know, your parents leave you too early. Your spouse comes like too late in your life. And they're like, but your sibling is there with you for your whole life. And that is the truth. Your sibling really is like your life partner.
Yeah.
Like,
yes.
For real. Like, they're there to be with you through everything. Oh my God. I'm
always so emotional.
It is kind of emotional. It's like when I heard it too, it's like an emotional thing. But, you know, it's just, it's the truth. So it's like, just like, you know, that's why I just feel like I hate whenever I hear people say like, oh, I haven't talked to my sister or sibling in like 7 years, whatever. Those stuff, I'm just like, that is so crazy. Horrible. Like, don't ever let that happen. If that's you out there, call your sibling, call your sister.
Yeah.
Make up with them. It's not worth it. And try to find a healthy balance. Because like we're saying, just brushing things under the rug is not a good solution. Yeah.
But if anything, if you get anything out of this, hopefully you're staying here till the end. Yes. But it's, you know, call your sister, call your brother, call your sibling. Yeah. Because they really are what's left for you in this world. I mean, that's it. You know, like they say, your parents leave you too early. You know, you have your spouse, but it's not the same thing. You don't share that kind of a bloodline with them.
And it's just different because your spouse is your spouse. Of course, they're very important. They play an important role in your life in their lane. But I feel like having a sibling is like, you know, it's like your friend for life.
It's a friend for life, a built-in best friend.
Built-in best friend that knows like, honestly knows everything about you, because you can tell your friends everything, but it's different a person who lived it with you. Exactly. You know what I mean? Exactly. So it's just like you guys have been through so many things together. Like,
and that's the only person that has been through everything with you.
Yeah, that honestly knows you better than like anybody. Yeah. Obviously your parents know you really well too.
We're not including
parents, but like, you know, I'm talking about comparing to friends really. Because like that's why I know like you are truly my best friend in like that's what we always say, soulmates. I feel like we are soulmates.
We are soulmates.
So anyways, like we're saying, if you take anything out of this, please just take that. You know, your siblings are there for you. Your sisters especially. I hate hearing like sisters fight. Even like the Real House of Beverly Hills. Yeah. When I saw them fighting and like Kyle didn't know whose side to take about
that
her,
I'm like, me.
Take your sister's side and don't let anybody ever get in between you and your sister.
And we're biased towards sisters because we're sisters.
Of course, yeah. But because I just hate seeing that, because I'm just like, never. No. Sisters can fight about so many things. It can be a fight between yourself and like yourselves, and that's a different story. But like, especially if it's something over somebody else, don't ever let anybody tear you down. That is one thing, like, you know, tear you guys apart. Never, ever.
And people will try and do that because people don't like to see a good thing working. Yeah. So be there for your sibling. Call your sibling. You haven't called them. You haven't talked to them. Do it. Do it today. Yes. Don't wait.
Send them this podcast.
Even if you haven't, like, you know, you're mad at them, just send them, how are you? Or something, because it's not worth it. It's not worth it.
It's not worth it.
Life is so short. It's not worth it.
Yeah. And really, if you're not even ready to talk about it at that very moment, I feel like even just start with something like, you're saying like, just like, hey, how are you? Blah, blah, blah. And then you can get into like the talking about it if you want to. Or if that's not your style, if it's just to push it under the rug, then I guess do that too. But like, I don't know. I feel like it's better to talk about things. But yeah. Well, anyways, that is what we hope, you know, you get out of this episode. Yes. And yeah, do not forget to hit that subscribe button. We'll be here next week with a new episode. You know, every single Wednesday we have a new episode. And yeah, just shout out to all the sisters out there.
Yes. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you next week.
Yep. See you next week. Bye.
Okay. Just cut some of that out because I didn't like it.
Oh, Lord.